Hello again, everybody, and welcome to the Mike Francesa podcast, part of the Bet Rivers Network. We come to you on this Sunday afternoon as we finish up Week 17. And I know some of you Giant fans will be like, "Oh, you knew the Giants would do it." Hey, I have never ever been a fan of tanking. The Giants don't need the first pick in the draft. Even if you wanted to collect an extra pick from somebody as you were going to trade off for somebody that was coveting a quarterback, you know what? You're going to be picking a very high pick. I thought the Giants did a good job today. I mean, the Raiders, who want a quarterback, wanted the first pick in a very, very uh, public way. You know that today. I mean, they did tank the game. Okay, so what? I mean, it's just the way it is. All right. Hey, some people do, some people don't. I'm not a fan of it. I don't think it's good for your franchise. I don't think it's good for your players. I don't think you never ask a professional player not to give his best. And I think it was important that Dart won another game. I really do. I don't think it hurts. I think it's a positive. I think it's something he carries into next year. So, from that standpoint, I'm fine with what happened there. Um, I hope, I hope you got through Christmas uh, unscathed. Although I don't know anybody who did. I have never in my life remembered a year where flu and cold and nasty cold and flu ripped through every family that I mean, we had people come in, they wound up in urgent care, from out of town. Um, my daughter came back from Italy, she was sick. My boys came back from college, they both had the flu. I got it Christmas Eve when I'm playing Santa Claus, and Christmas Day, we had 40 people, and I was so sick I couldn't even stand up. And I spent yesterday in bed, feeling a little better today. But I don't know anyone I've talked to whose family hasn't been walloped by this. I've never heard a year like this. And a doctor friend of mine said that the uh, emergency rooms have been just overflowed. And doctors aren't working on the doctors that you want to deal with aren't working on Christmas. I mean, the bottom line is this was something, usually you hear, oh, it's gonna be so bad, and it's, get you. This time it was something like I've never seen before. I mean, I don't know anybody I've talked to who didn't have somebody in their family sick, and we had most of the family sick, as a matter of fact. So I hope you're unscathed from that, and if not, if you're a Jet fan, I'm sure the Jet game today made you sick. That was I didn't think I could even utter a word about the Jets today. Hey, Pats won. Pats won easy. No surprise to anybody. You knew the Pats were going to win. Good chance they were going to roll it up. All right. Sometimes those games don't turn out as one sided as you think they're going to be. Um, the other team, but it's a rivalry game, it's a division game. But the Jets showed no pride. They showed no fight. They did not try in the least. I know they were sitting players down. You want to say they were tanking? Well, I don't care if they were or they weren't. The bottom line is the players they put on the field. When you are playing an opponent that is going to be part of your existence twice a year, every year, you do not let them push you all over your building under any circumstances. Look at Cleveland today. Cleveland's not any good. You know the difference in that game? A Cleveland Brown knows when he puts on a uniform that the Steeler game matters. He understands that. From the beginning, he understands that. It's a rivalry. It's a game that matters. It's a game that matters to the fans. If they can hurt, if they can knock the Steelers out, It's something they can take home. It's something they can be proud of. And they were proud of that effort today, and they gave a good effort. And we know they have some defensive players, but the bottom line is, and Pittsburgh didn't play well today. Aaron Rodgers didn't play well today after playing very well the last couple of weeks. Pittsburgh had its opportunities, but Cleveland cared. The Jets didn't care. And I was just waited to see what Aaron Glenn and I watched I put the sound up and watched the postgame on the Jets as the Giants game was starting because I wanted to catch Aaron Glenn. I just wanted to see what he would say about this debacle. And I think that postgame, those guys on the Jets do the best job of anybody. I think they do a great job because you know what? They're honest. A couple of them are football players. Okay? We know Bart's an edgy football player. The bottom line is they speak the truth. They don't sugarcoat it. And then he comes out and tells you, oh, this was the first time I didn't think we gave a real effort. Wait a second. You're coming off a month where you've been outscored 40-10 over 4 weeks. You've been outscored worse than any team in December in the history of the National Football League. The worst 4-game stretch by a team in the history of the National Football League. You were home today, closing out your home season against a team that is going to the playoffs, a team that has embarrassed you throughout your history, a team that has turned around, started their rebuild after you, and has moved so far in front of you that now they're going to host playoff games. And they have a franchise quarterback who's going to finish in the top 3 in the MVP voting. And they gave you the back of their hand today in the first half. 35-3, 344 yards. The most in the league this year, the most in the league in a first half in years. And you just sat around as players, as coaches, and took it. This isn't something where it's just, oh, don't worry, guys. We got a handle on this. I know it looks like this right now, but you don't realize there's something special being built here. That is such crap. Anybody who believes that, I mean, you got to be kidding me. Do you think he has any idea what he's doing? He doesn't. The game plans are ridiculously bad. They get beat on the same stuff week after week. Excuse me. Week after week. Week after week. They make no adjustments. They have no idea how to handle personnel. They have had no clue what to do all season. And he tells you, I see improvement. Improvement? You want to see improvement? Look at what New Orleans has done in the last 5 weeks. That's improvement. Look at what Tennessee has done in the last couple of weeks. That's improvement. You're going to tell me getting outscored? Let me get it right. Hold on. 153-46 in the last 4 games is improvement? You don't see it. This is what he tried to tell you. You don't see the good things that we're building. Oh, really? Nobody could see them. You couldn't find them with a microscope. There is nothing being built here, not a culture. The coaching staff stinks. It's not bad. It reeks from high heavens. It doesn't have a clue. Not a clue. Aaron Glenn was a good football player. Doesn't mean he was ever going to be a good coach just because he hung around with good coaches. It did not mean he was going to be a head coach. And he hasn't shown you the first inkling that he's a head coach. And you can go into year 2 with him, and they're going to. And he's gonna say all the right things, okay? He's gonna tell you all the things that have gotten better and everything else. And he knows what he's doing, and there's a plan and everything else. And then he's gonna go into next year, and halfway through, it's gonna be the same thing, and you're gonna be looking at the same garbage. You're gonna put a young quarterback, a first-year quarterback that you draft at the top of the draft out there with this group and this coaching staff? Somehow I know there's going to be now this Malik Willis sweepstakes. I don't think it'll be one that the Jets will win, because if you're Malik Willis and you have been an understudy and you now know this is your moment, why wouldn't you go to Miami? Why wouldn't you go to 3 or 4 other teams and play quarterback? Why would you go to the Jets? You wouldn't. So you're gonna put a young quarterback in there, and he's gonna get destroyed. And this won't get any better. It won't. I'm sorry. I hate to be the bearer of bad news, and I could sit here and scream about how embarrassing it is, and it's utterly reeking of embarrassment and lack of pride and lack of competitiveness and all the things that you think about that you want your football team to display, that it makes you wanna throw up. But you know what? It's the holidays. I'm not gonna do that. Plus, I don't have enough energy. The bottom line, do I have any faith that next year will be better under Aaron Glenn? Absolutely not. I think he's gonna be back. I don't think there's any question. But do I think it's gonna make a difference? Absolutely not. He doesn't have an idea what he's doing. Not an idea. Now the Giants, listen, they have their quarterback. We know that. They got one more game to play. They're gonna get a very high draft pick. They've got some pieces they can obviously, there are 5 or 6 pieces on the offense that you really like. Getting Neighbors back, obviously, the 1-2 punch at running back. Theo, once he matures and catches the ball properly, is gonna be a good tight end. Have a left tackle if he can stay healthy, he's talented. The rest of the line still needs some upgrading. Wandell is a good hey, I'd like to slide a stronger 2 in and have him as my slot guy. Then I really got something cooking. Then I really got something cooking. And, I think you can do that in the draft. And they need a strong hand at coach and obviously some really good coaches who are gonna put together game plans and put together ways of playing offense and defense that will work. But they should turn the corner now. They have to pick the right guy. I have said this before. Should John Harbaugh be cut loose, and I don't know that he will be. If I'm the Giants, I don't let him out of it. I don't let him get out 10 minutes, and I hire him. It's a no-brainer for me. A no-brainer. Now, whether that will happen, that he gets fired, I don't know. I actually thought the Steelers would find a way to eke out that game today. They did not play well. They had their moments, they had their chances. Obviously, they got down there late in a chance, to tie the game up. Um, it didn't work out. Now they gotta play the Ravens, and obviously, they have to deal with a running game and a running back that they know very well, who had last night one of the great games that we've seen in modern ages. I mean, 216 yards, 36 carries, and 4 touchdowns. I mean, just an incredible game. Absolutely incredible. No question about it. Just absolutely an incredible performance. But somebody said, "Oh, the Giants will win." I said, "You know what? The Giants will win. First of all, there's clearly the Raiders need a quarterback, the Giants don't. So the motivation for the Raiders is stronger. Clearly inside the organization. I mean, you see what Max did. I mean, Max has gone to great I mean, they might have a problem with him because he's gone to great extent to prove that he's not injured, including bouncing on a trampoline while they're recording to show that he could have played today. I mean, he was furious that he didn't play today. I mean, he knows Jay Glazer well. You can clearly see that, Jay kept mentioning how upset Max was. Max was making it clear on social media how upset he was. He was not happy with this. That's someone who has pride. That's a football player. But I understand why they wanted the first pick because they want to find a quarterback. They got Tom Brady in the organization. Let him help pick the quarterback. I don't know what they're going to do with Pete Carroll. They have to make major changes on the coaching staff. They already did with Kelly, but they have to make more. But they needed the one pick. There's more than one quarterback. These are all high picks. They're going to be able to find the quarterback. That's not going to be an issue. The Jets are going to be able to find a quarterback. Either one who is a veteran or one they can get in the draft. The Giants do not need a quarterback. And I heard people saying, "Oh, if the Giants get the first pick, they trade." I mean, anyone who thought that was, had a screw loose. They were never, ever, 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 ever doing that. They love Dot, and they should. There's a lot to like. There's a lot to like. Not perfect by any stretch, but you know what? He already does things that rookie quarterbacks don't do. He shows poise and patience that young quarterbacks don't show. I am very impressed with him. Very. So I think the Giants are headed in the right direction. And you know how much I love Scatterbo. I know Scatterbo with his mentality is always going to be one collision from destruction. I mean, we all know that. Maybe they both are. Maybe that's their future. Maybe that's who they are. Okay. It happens. But you know what? They play with a reckless abandon, but they play with a passion and they play with a productivity. They really do. Now the Giants have to finish the season and get about putting a strong hand on the controls and moving this organization in the right direction. Finally. Finally. That's where we are. As for the Jets, if you're a Jet fan, I don't know how you couldn't be incredibly depressed. I don't have a scintilla of optimism. I don't think Aaron Glenn has a clue what he's doing. And all he told you was, "Hey, remember, I was there in Detroit when, they started out bad the first year, and look what happened." Well, look what happened here. You got worse as the season went on. And the last 4 games they were all-time bad. They were coat-tight bad. They were worse than coat-tight. 153 to 46. And then today, knowing you were playing a team that was playing for a division title, a team that is a hated rival who you will see every single year in your last home game, in your last stand in front of your fans, what'd you do? Bent over and let them whack you around. An utter disgrace. There's no other way to describe it. Absolutely no other way to describe it. Um, I'll be fascinated to watch Mendoza in these games. Mendoza has an intelligence and a calmness that is impressive. I don't think he has a high level of athleticism, and I don't know what kind of toughness he has. I think these next couple of games, and I shouldn't say next couple of games because he could get beat in the first game. I mean, they're playing a talented opponent. I think they'll probably win, but well, that's a story for another day. But what you like is that he has made plays when he's had to make plays, and he's won. He's put his team in the end zone, and he's won the game, and that's to me the essence of being a quarterback. Don't show me 6 touchdown passes when the other team stinks. You know, don't show me 18 straight completions when the other team is abominable. Show me you can make the read, make the throw, make the play when the game is on the line. Now, in the Penn State game, the receiver bailed him out. He didn't make a great throw. And the receiver made an incredible catch. He made a throw that was substandard, but the receiver made just an all-time clutch catch. Sometimes you need that to happen. That's part of the game. So I'm not completely 100% sold on Mendoza as a star, but like I said, we have time for that. Sign up for the free Mike Francesa newsletter. You get exclusive content, contest offers. Go to MikeFrancesa'Podcast.com and sign up. Bet Rivers players who place a same game parlay of at least $10 on NFL or NCAA football games will receive an entry into the weekly Squares game. Winning Squares can earn up to $50 bonus bets per entry. See the Bet Rivers app or website for full details. Now, this week we got tomorrow night, Rams and Falcons. Tonight, Bears and Niners. Supposedly, the Bears are going through the flu is going through the Bears. Supposedly, I heard on the pregame. So we'll see where that takes the Bears. The Niner offense has played so incredibly well the last month. It's been mind-boggling. It really has. Absolutely mind-boggling. It has played so incredibly well. Next week, there are a lot of teams that could still finish with the 1 seed. Seeding, but again, seeding is different. There's only there's 2 slots open. Okay? There's 2 slots open. We have the Steelers and Baltimore. The winner of the game is going to win the division. And we have Carolina and Tampa. Now, Carolina and Tampa, I don't know what tiebreaker they're going to wind up with if Tampa wins. If Carolina wins, obviously they win the division. If Carolina wins, I have to see how far down this goes because it's crazy. I haven't even figured that out yet. So I know that we're going to have somebody win out of that league with Carolina and Tampa, but it looked to me off the top of the head that it was the same division record, same conference record, same head to head. So we got to go down the line on who wins the division because they're going to be in this. They have that. They'd have the same record. We'll see what happens there. So, but it's still up in the air. So that tells you that it's still not been decided. So with that the case, you got to figure that it's going to come down to that game, and that's it. So they'll put the Pittsburgh game, I would think, at night, and then they will they'll feature those 2 games. Obviously, those would be the 2 big feature games, the 2 games for the division title with the 2 games. That's the only ones that the other ones are all for seeding or a 1 seed or stuff like that. The Rams could win 13 games and, you know, not wind up with a division title. I mean, there's a very good chance that happens. Seattle's already won 13. San Francisco is 11-4. Rams are 11-4. Rams have 2 very winnable games, and they are 11-4. So it's very interesting how this could come down to. There's so many teams that could still be in the mix. So we're going to wait and see how that unfolds. What I would say about the playoffs is it's about 6 teams that could win a championship this year. That's a lot. That's a lot. Normally this time of year, just like 2 or 3. Maybe one conference is a little wide open, and one is usually, like, completely closed down, and everything's going through one team. This year, you don't have that. Um, uh, and the Eagles, who I know the game is still up for grabs here in the final seconds in Buffalo, but, the Eagles have played better of late, and the last 5 or 6 weeks, their defense has played sensationally well. And if they get their offensive line healthier in a couple of weeks, then they are gonna be a very formidable team. While people were counting them out, they do not count them out. They have shown that they still have some life. They really do. And I've liked the Rams from the beginning. I picked Rams Baltimore before the season started. I don't think Baltimore can get there. I don't think Lamar's gonna be healthy under any circumstances this year. I really don't. I don't think that's gonna be the case. Now we have obviously a busy week this week, with all the, games coming up in college. So we'll get to those. We'll get to everything else on what will be a holiday week with the New Year coming, just like, we did this week with Christmas. We'll have a front-loaded week again, so be looking for that. And we will talk to you soon.